So, and it's really, really funny because you have background in finance as well.
I yawn a lot. It's not a sign of anything except that I think I have a yawning condition. Apparently it can be just like light sensitivity, blue colored eyes. Comment if you know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's not out of boredom or energy. It's just yawning. I do have a finance background. I come from the world of in finance and corporate America, and then corporate United Kingdom / Europe. I'm essentially, yeah, from the global corporate world. And that's all we need to say about that. But I have a whole other side of me that looks nothing like finance, I would say. I don't know.
I mean, so initially I was thinking about doing this project solo, and I met Chase, and I thought that he was absolutely brilliant, exactly because you exist within this dichotomy.
Yeah,
And
story of my life, paradox.
exactly, but there is something about how your evolutionary vessel.
Ladies and gents, take notes. We're talking about my evolutionary vessel. Wow, that is a term. That is.
Oh my God! Have you never?
Can't wait for that little like part of the video timeline. You know, where you can click through the different like bullet points, and one just says evolutionary vessel.
Oh my God!
Well, since we're talking about my evolutionary vessel,
So
God, you're gonna make me blush on camera.
Oh, will that make me the first person to make you blush on camera?
If you're just joining us, welcome back.
Welcome back.
That would be because our camera stopped filming. The things we've talked about a lot in our hangouts, which have mainly consisted of this living room, which is a fantastic living room. Her living room, to be clear. And I'm just like the house rat at this point. Everything short of just kicking the door down, because you actually leave it open as soon as I enter the building. We spend a lot of time hanging out here.
You're a cozy evolutionary vessel that I enjoy very much. I would never call you a rat.
Evolutionary vessel, an EV.
He's a very cozy.
Charge me up.
But also, I wouldn't provoke him. Like, yes.
Yeah, that's kind of that's a danger. Yeah. Anyways.
Yes.
We've hung out a lot in this room. We've done some good walks around London, some hot walks, walked around, just been hot in the process. We have been to music festival.
We have.
We've had business calls, meetings, talked about contracts. It's been a busy 2 months since we met at this fashion party. And one of the things we talk about rather consistently is like the classic East-West divide. That honestly exists in most cities. It exists in like the Great Gatsby even. But there's always a story around the East and the West. A lot of that ties to how cities were developed with industrialism and weather patterns and socioeconomic behaviors. But
in a western town, a dead-end world, with the East End boys and West End girls. West End girls. West End girls.
Because do you know that I have a scar on I have a scar on my forehead, on the middle of my forehead?
no, I didn't know that.
It's there. You can verify. But
We'll-
it's
We'll
really
do that later.
keep the camera.
Verified.
Please do. But that's exactly what we're speaking about. I think like right now you asked what is really interesting of what is happening in the world, and I think it's absolutely the shift that we are about to face is tremendous, and it is due to the connectivity that is aroused through means of digital interaction, the scope of it, the size of it, how narratives have been approximated. And then we had the entire green wave, the woke wave, the call for transparency. Like all of those things have shaped generations of young people in a drastically different way than, for example, like there is an age gap between us, but it's not that tremendous. To understand what the amount of information that your generations have consumed through internet versus our, and I'll just say like approximately I start seeing changes around, so like when you're born in 1990, 1992, like those generations, you kind of start seeing like quite clear differences in how everything is processed. And all of those things, like for those who do not know this, I used to be a dentist, and I wrote my thesis.
Life number one that you've lived. We need like a counter, because I think over the course of time you're gonna reveal a lot of lives. You're like a cat in more ways than one.
Do you know that I have a cat too?
What?
Didn't you know?
Oh, I thought you said a cat too. I was like, no, you do not. Stop. Oh, stop.
There's not many things that would maybe there is. This actually made me blush. But I think that's kind of the beauty of it, and just us meeting in the context that we have met at.
Yeah, it's all about the context. Kamala taught us that.
Please. Oh, yeah. 100%.
100%.
Started telling you about my life as a dentist. So my master thesis was in socioeconomic disparities based upon information consumption and apprehension of provided information. So my master thesis, so like this entire dimension of cultural movement and how we flow between states and how those states have geographical boundaries. They have these groupings, like either as a country or the type of food you eat or how you dress, how you speak it. That's really fascinating to me, going back to the EV state.
And yeah, disclaimers that people have to sign.
Yeah, 100%. So like all of those things are really fascinating to me, and speaking about it and see how that kind of pans out.
I was literally just about to go there.
Tell me.
I was gonna say, you've talked about, sorry, can you take me seriously with these? Vintage Chanel out of Isla's extensive wardrobe, experience back there. Yeah. Well organized, might I say. Librarians. This woman is a modern librarian. I feel like at the end of your fingertips on a keyboard and a premium YouTube account, you can take people through the craziest journey in 60 minutes. And that's part of why we're sitting here.
That is actually one of the first experiences you and me have had.
Every time I've walked in this house, they have this great TV set up with a dining table beneath it, because that's not the priority right now. But it's a beautiful dining table that was a birthday gift to her, not from me. And
but that's a benchmark.
We'll come back to that. YouTube's always playing. Typically, it's a great DJ set or some amazing selection of music videos. And that really has become a portal for a lot of the playgrounds. A lot of discussion, a lot of ideas. Some things that get rather philosophical or on the more like intellectual side. Some things that result on us standing opposite on two white couches and dancing. You're always wearing Crocs as you stand on the couch dancing. And that is thanks to your wealth of inventory, I guess, of the digital realm. Give me a mic and I will go forever.
You have the floor is yours, sir.
I have the plug-in mic. Okay, but I'm going to actually keep going on this topic, because I think, and this like, wow, we're actually starting to weave a web in our conversation that might actually be interesting and cohesive for people to listen to.
Welcome.
What a crazy feat for episode 1. And how you've shown me corners of the web, especially through YouTube. We're talking lectures, we're talking music videos, we're talking random, I mean, super random, just videos, like generic videos. We watched a guy talk about the different types of bananas for like 25 minutes. Turns out it was like a legitimate video because he's a fruit specialist. Plantologist.
We are at complete liberty to make up terms that potentially do not exist in the dictionary, but will do so.
Well, at the time this video does not exist in the dictionary. At the time you're watching, it probably does. But yeah, you've like talked about sort of this lens within that you feel like you have, and that you would love to bring people into. And I found it really interesting because I like watched some music videos growing up. Was on like YouTube and YouTube adjacent, I guess, a little bit, but I don't have that same exposure. And I do find it like a interesting way to talk about culture and to talk about ideas, to talk about expression, to talk about art. And I enjoy discussing and commentating on that kind of stuff, but this is sort of a new medium and probably a different genre of it than I've ever approached. And you're the perfect person, I think, to tee that up to people who maybe are familiar and would find it interesting, but perhaps more exciting would be people who have never gone to those places.
But I think
and might find it more relevant than they would expect, which is how I felt.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, I've like 2 Saturday mornings ago, I watched a cartoon movie that you had sent me when I watched Gondivar. It was amazing and it was highly relevant, and that's new for me.
And there's some interesting moments happening there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know the right way to say it, but Boobs had a great moment, and it's not in the way that you probably expect based on how that sounds. All the different ways boobs could be presented in a cartoon.
Most certainly, but to be honest, I think also it's kind of beautiful because it's beautifully presented, and thus you find it attractive. It doesn't have to be. There are many levels of how things can be presented, and I think that's one of the things that I'm here. So, this is another life that we're speaking about now. But when I used to work in fashion,
life number 2.
I used to, I'm very focused on visual aesthetics, and it's not solely aesthetics. It's not about what looks pretty or what looks beautiful. But to me, this visual dimension exists within its own continuation, where going back to the evolution that I'm highly and tightly tied, and also kind of wrote a manuscript based upon the evolutionary premises. Interesting to me to look how that develops and how that becomes hypes, how that becomes how that plays and interacts with human sentiment, and then how that kind of again turns into value and exchange. So, and that can also be connected to the fact that I can't see clearly. For example,
I was going to ask about that.
It's very fascinating. Plus 3.5 is no joke. My childhood photos, most of them I have look like a pirate.
Did you wear a patch?
Yes, I did.
I had a sibling that wore a patch, and I mean, as the non-patch wearing person, it was awesome because it was so cute. When they were younger, it was so cute. I don't know if they would say they felt cute wearing it, but for third parties, patches are such a vibe. It did wonders for their eyes.
But this is one of the reasons why Chase is here. There are many reactions that I've heard throughout the years on this particular narrative. The way you interact with things that I've seen, just actually a really well caught camera moment. I think that world would have been a really interesting place in a really cool way, because at one point not only did I have a patch, I also had a short hair. So it was brutal.
To be fair, hair is it's a different category. We could quote Fleabag all day long. Hair is everything, and we wish it wasn't, but it is,
It
and
is.
it's. I mean, God, couldn't be more true. I think. Wait, but can you click on it a little bit more? Am I going to be annoying by saying click on? I mean, this is like a digital focused discussion realm. Click, 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 click. Tell us more about your vision, like the physical experience and some of the things that you might want to share on that. And again, tying it to this broader idea of aesthetics, aesthetic concepts. God, it's like how far do we want to extrapolate this? How that kind of ties into just the general idea of how you view the world, and having watching Wednesday, that might translate. A topic for another time. Yeah. But take us from your eyes all the way to your entire approach on living in 90 seconds or less. Just kidding.
Great. Enthusiasm. Oh.
You guys
Do
want to
it.
come to the print shop? Do you have a printer?
I do have a printer
Okay.
just underneath the marble table.
Hot take. I really want to get a printer. And I feel like printers are going to make a major comeback.
100%.
My personal opinion.
Do you
I've
know
not
what's
had a
really
printer in my house for a long time. I lived with someone last year. They had a printer.
What's that track?
Ended up wanting to print everything. And you know what? The world is going to keep spinning. I'm focused on my footprint in a lot of areas. Seeing maybe a bit of a mood board at home is not one that I want to cut back. So
Can you?
printers are on the buy list, people. Buy, buy, buy. You want to buy printers. Buy printer stocks. Stocks only go up. That's not financial advice.
I can be enthusiastic about printers, but there's actually a different story to that. I'll tell you afterwards. So fun. Did you know I used to? So there, I used to live in just above London Fields, Lido. I had a room. It was 12 square meters, where I printed a lot of references. What I wanted to say is that I printed everything like this big images, and then I cut them all up, and then I plastered the entire room with
That's
images.
cool. That's a wallpaper, essentially.
Exactly, but it wasn't random, and they weren't just like randomly plastered. It was like the entire thing was mapped out.
You organized it.
Exactly, but
What was your, Miss Librarian, what was your organizational logic? You seen Party Girl?
no, what's that?
Oh, a cult classic, iconic movie set in New York, 90s, late 90s, mid 90s. Anyways, this party girl, decides she wants to become a librarian. And there's this whole scene, which we hopefully can surround ourselves in this green screen, where she has to learn the different ways that you could organize a library, which actually I understand how that's an entire degree, because wow, that's a world. But organizational logic's a fascinating thing. It's a massive accomplishment itself. So how did you organize a wallpaper of tiny photos in your entire room?
Let's go to like its organizational dimension is really fascinating to me as well. Exactly because of the way we store memory and how that kind of develops into individual aspects.
It's like a physical brain almost.
Almost.
Do you think that the way you organized that? Okay, if we have a photo of that room, that would be super cool. Do you think the way that you organized those photos like mimics your brain? Like, do you think it's pretty congruent? I guess in some sense.
Aspects of it. I mean, but that's exactly the thing. Like, the question is what you're after, and I think that those are the things that I've recognized through my artistic practice. So, like, I currently stand, like, if I would to be asked what I am, I'm an evolutionary theorist and an artist.
Can you break those down?
Exactly, and Exactly.